Hello and welcome to the Restaurant Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, TK. Today, I want to get real with you guys and talk about people. And I'm going to go off on several tangents. But what I want you to get out of today and from the next 10, 15, 20 minutes is what can you do to truly impact those around you in your position as a leader? What can you truly change in people's lives? And how is that going to help you? Too often I see new managers coming into this great industry of ours, and many times they don't get the proper training that they need to interact and engage with people. And a lot of the time, it has to really do with their viewpoint of the world and your viewpoint of the world. Because at the end of the day, you are what you make your life. Your perspective, your experiences, your history, it all molds you into you. And the great thing about this is your viewpoint can change. Your perspective can change. And once you go through that big change in your life, where you begin recognizing that, yes, leadership is quite lonely. Yes, it requires a lot of due diligence and focus. And yes, you do have to quote unquote deal with people. But the beautiful thing about life and in this world is humans, we're in this together. At the end of the day, we all have emotions. We all have lives and families and birthdays and aunts and uncles and aspirations and inspirations and passions and sickness and marriages. I mean, the list goes on. And I think most people, when you get to a place of leadership, you tend to forget that the people that report to you are just that. Guys are people. They have emotions. They're not slaves. Okay? Just because you pay their paycheck does not mean they owe you their entire life. Okay? Employment is a transaction. When you pay somebody an hourly rate, you give them money for their time and their effort. That's it. It's just like buying something at the store. You as a person, an employee, are selling your time to the company for money. Now, there are different types of people, right? We have really hard workers who, aspire to be the best and just do the best they can in the role that they're at. Your all-stars. It's just who they are. It's how they work. Then you're going to have those people who, will give you average quality work. Okay? And then you'll have those people who will give you really low quality work. Now, with that in mind, think about what you have to offer. Okay? Now, imagine yourself a product in the grocery store. Okay? Are you going to be the apple that is extraordinarily high quality? Yes, you are a little more expensive, but you are healthier, you took longer to grow, and you're the tastiest. And then you'll have those medium tier apples, right? The ones that typically everybody can afford, Gala or, Red Apples, Granny Smith, Those average workers, the average apples, and you know what you're going to get. Okay, you don't expect this explosion of flavor. And then you get the low tier quality apples, the apples that were discounted because they expired yesterday. Unfortunately, there are some people that can only afford those, and that's okay. But when you're thinking about a business transaction, and then you think about trading your time for money, are you going to be that lower tier apple? Or are you going to work hard and truly show to the world that, you are that top quality. You are that explosion of flavor. You are that top tier apple that people will pay more for. Now, take that and look at your team. Which category do your people fit? Do they fit in the lower tier, where they give low quality work and they don't aspire to be more? Do they show up on time and do the job they're supposed to be doing and fully expect of what you're expecting from them? You know what to expect. And then you have your all-stars who come in 5 minutes early just to get a little bit of a head on their shift. They help each other out. They always are the first one to say, I'll stay a little bit later if needed. And that's just who they are. Now ask yourself, are you paying the appropriate wages for those quality of workers? Are your lower tier apples getting paid more than your higher tier apples? This is something that I think is often overlooked in the restaurant industry. Tenure, yes, does matter, but not as much as performance. And sometimes when those apples go past their expiration date, they don't try to be that higher tier quality apple anymore. Same with your employees, okay? If you do not develop your people and give them opportunity to grow, they're going to be complacent and become expired. And then you'll find yourself paying them because of your inaction to develop them into the best people they can be. And then paying them appropriately. And then you'll have those people that will be complaining about their wages because they're not getting paid as much as so-and-so who just got hired 3 months ago but is going above and beyond and doing over-the-top work, has already been cross-trained, has wanted to be asked about CT, certified trainership, and, they're just going to be worth more. They have higher quality work. And the point in all this rant is looking at your team and understanding where they're at. And then I want you to look at those lower tier apples. What brought them to that point? Was it truly that your lack of leadership development in your people caused that? Was it some outside factors? Okay, there's typically a reason that people fall into that category. A lot of people don't just get hired onto a job and just slip into that. They're allowed to. And of course, you will have that small percentage that are just not great workers and it's not what they love, And if you hire somebody that doesn't love what they do, and you don't have to be a career, but at least enjoy the work a little bit, you're not going to ever be able to push them. I had a situation the other day with a few team members, and they were quite angry at their manager. Their manager basically said they were incompetent, and it turned the whole mood of the restaurant down. I mean, everyone was not having a good time because they did not feel as if they were treated like a human being. I see people decline PTO requests and vacation requests for months ahead. Why? They want to go on vacation. People don't want to work a whole year straight. And I'm very lucky to be in a company that provides PTO to all full-time hourly team members after a year of working, and I think that's awesome. But too often I see general managers and managers abuse their power, and I don't even know why people make lives difficult for others. We're all in this same timeline together. We're all human beings just trying to make it through to the next day. Your employees are not servants. Your employees are not slaves. And your employees are not pawns in a game. They have real feelings. They have real things going on in their lives. And sometimes people have to miss work. Okay? As managers in the restaurant field, I feel like we get too focused on the business, and we get too focused in our own circles and our own problems and our own stress. And we reflect that onto our team. And it's not right. Even the employees that are that lower tier, okay, they just don't output that high quality work, they still deserve to be treated and given the same opportunity as the others. Now, whether they work up to that expectation, that's on them. But I've always made it a point to be fair in all aspects of my career, and I see that I'm succeeding by this. I was in a restaurant a few months ago, and I visit this restaurant every week or so for like the last 6 months. And one of the team members was introducing me to an employee and said, "Yeah, this is Tyler. I'm not really sure what his title is, but he comes in and he helps us out, and he helps support the restaurant from a higher standard, and we like him." And that really touched me, because this employee that I've seen every week for 6 months didn't know my title. But I get a high amount of respect from that team, and I enjoy going there, and I enjoy helping them and supporting their operations, and they know that I care greatly. And I guarantee that I can pick up the phone and call that restaurant and ask them to do something. Go out and give out 10 free entree cards to your neighboring businesses, whatever. I bet they would do it. And theoretically, I may not even be their immediate supervisor, but that respect that I've shown them as people, and the care that I've shown that I have, will make people go over the moon for you. Another example, I've been through several different restaurant brands, and I have people from every restaurant brand that still stay in touch with me. And when I say stay in touch, they keep me involved in their life. They're getting married, they tell me about it. They graduate college, they tell me about it. They're just thinking about that time in their life when I was their boss and I made it enjoyable for them. And, some of these people I've been in contact with for a decade now. It's crazy to think that I made such a big impact by showing how much I care about them as people and their development, that they have wanted to stay in touch with me. And some of these people, guys, I was only their supervisor for a few months. And we're not even talking 5-10 years, a few months. And that's what gets me so happy and excited. And this is why I love the restaurant industry, because I can make that impact. I can make people's lives memorable, and I can make a core memory for them. And for some, I was the best boss they ever had because I took 5 minutes and I talked with them. I looked them in the eyes. I asked them truly how their day was every day, and I waited for an answer. I said hello and goodbye. I was respectful. I said please and thank you, and I was stern when I needed to. Okay? Some people may have seen me as a hard ass, but those people still respected me, and they still knew that I cared greatly for them and their development. And guys, that's what it's all about. And this is kind of a rant podcast because I've seen the last month or so just managers just really not caring about their people enough and not realizing that without them, we are none. And managers tend to forget their purpose, okay? It's not to crack a whip. It's not to strictly enforce policies or to take people's phones away because they can't stay off of it. It just doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. In the grand scheme of things, what does matter is that you work really hard to provide an amazing experience for both the guest and your employee. Here's another scenario that I actually got emailed about this and asked for my advice. This manager of a fast food restaurant has an employee who consistently gives them back talk and just shows some blatant disrespect. And this manager says that they admit to blowing up on them with emotion, once or twice and letting it get to their heads. And we are human again. We have emotions. It is very difficult to approach people without emotions in check. And this is a skill that honestly took me the longest to learn. And once it finally clicked, career changing, guys. When you're able to approach a bad situation with a level head, clear, concise results that you are wanting to see from this talk, you are going to more than likely be able to change that person's whole attitude about you, about the company, and they may even turn around and become one of your all-stars. But if you approach a situation with high emotion and obvious negativity, you're going to get that right back. Now, in order to correct a situation like this, just like most things, there's always an underlying problem. And don't get me wrong, guys, some people just don't like others. It's conflicting personalities, whatever. But I will tell you what works 90% of the time in these situations is whenever you bring them into the office or sit out in the dining room, you have a one-on-one situation. And whenever you take emotion out of it and you have a clear adult conversation about what's really going on, they're either A, going to stop their actions and respect you a little more, or B, they're going to quit. But 90% of the time, they're going to go with option A. And they're going to end up respecting you more because you took the time to be an adult with them. Most of the time, people blow up like that and give disrespect to others. It tends to happen because of how they have been treated, whether it's in their childhood, at home, other jobs. It's turned into this natural reaction for this person. And you as a leader, it's your responsibility to recognize that and to help understand truly where it's coming from. Because most of the time, it's not really even you as a leader. It's something that happens at home every time they have to get off work. Maybe they're dreading and have high anxiety about that. It's something that maybe happened in their childhood whenever they've gotten in trouble, maybe they got grounded for 2 months at a time just because their parents were assholes, who knows? What's important now, though, is you as a leader, you sit down with them and you discuss intently why are you giving me so much disrespect? I understand that if you felt like I've offended you or disrespected you, but I only care about your success. And if you hired them, I hired you because I saw great potential. Now, can we get past this? Because I want you to be working here for a long time. I like you as a person, and I want to like you as a worker as well. But we've got to fix these few things. And guys, here's the most important part of any hard conversation is you let them speak. Let them get their part out. Don't interrupt them. Don't be checking your phone or your watch. Pay attention. Truly understand what they're trying to say. And I think at the end of the day, when people find out that you are going to treat everybody else like a person and fairly, and you say hello to every single person, and you don't skip over one person because they don't say hi back, say hello to every person when you enter a restaurant. Show that common respect. Say goodbye to every person. Even if you just got into it. Flip that switch. Don't let it get to you guys. As leaders, you've got to keep a cool head. It's just like being a parent. You can't freak out. When you freak out, your kids freak out. When you stay calm and collective, your kids will probably still freak out, but not to a high degree. And you parents know exactly what I'm saying. It's like when your kids get hurt. If you just, honestly, if they fall and scrape their knee, if you ignore it, they're going to look at you and see what your reaction is, and then they're going to respond that same way. I get it hurts, kid, but you're good. You're good. I've scraped my knee multiple times. You're good. And you reassure them that everything's going to be fine. They may cry for a little bit, but if you freak out and say, oh my God, get the bandage, you've got blood coming out, like, they're going to respond that same way. So same way with your employees, guys. As leaders, if you freak out, they're going to do the same. So, we're nearing about 21 minutes, and if you've listened this far, man, I really appreciate you guys. These last few weeks, I've done a lot of reflecting on leadership, and I've been trying out a few different things for this podcast, and I'm still trying to find things that work, but I wanted to get this message out to the world. I think it's important, and I think that not many people are talking about this. I feel like positive leadership, for whatever reason, is just not as popular as it needs to be, and the world is changing. We as leaders have to change the way of our leadership as well. So, guys, today, tomorrow, for the rest of your career, treat people like people. Treat humans like humans. Even if they're in a bad mood and they're shitty towards you, be the bigger person. Show them love and care. Many people don't get that anymore. So, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you again for tuning in. If you have any other suggestions or any questions for me, you can always reach me at my email, tylerk@gmail.com. Look out for the next episode, guys. I hope you all have a beautiful week, and hear from you soon. Bye-bye.